Hey, guys, welcome to season 5. I am super excited. I know you guys have been like, where have you been? Let me tell y'all, I've been going through shifts, through pivots, through all the things, but I am so excited to be back. I am Shift Dr. Joy, international speaker and realtor and global mindset coach. And y'all already know I'm coming for your edges. I'm coming for your limiting beliefs, your mindsets to help you shift from stuck to become unstoppable in your business and life so you can be all that God has called, ordained, and destined you to be. So I have the perfect person that is here today that I'm going to be interviewing. And let me tell y'all, she had to make a pivot recently. So again, welcome to season 5, Getting Shift Together. Let me read a little bit about our guest on today. Y'all, her name is Ty R. Graham. She's an international speaker, life reset coach. She's a best-selling author. Let me tell y'all something. Ty is rooted in resilience, and she is driven by purpose, empowering others to rise, reset, and rewrite the narrative of their lives. Y'all, that's a whole mouthful right there. I'm actually going to pause and let Ty tell you guys a little bit more about who she is and what she does. Y'all give it up for Ty R. Graham, best-selling author of Unlocking the Life That You Deserve. Welcome, Ty, and thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Joy, for having me in at such a warm and joyful introduction. As Joy had already stated, I'm international speaker, life reset coach, and the #1 best-selling author of Unlocking the Life You Deserve. And I am. It's such a pleasure and honor to be on this platform with Joy on today. And just a little bit about me. Started out in healthcare, and your passion for my passion for helping people, but also helping people that may feel stuck and unseen and unheard. It was time for me to again make that shift. And so was in healthcare for about 10 years, but I knew that there was more and I had
Wow.
to go after that more. I did spend some time in the military, was in the army. And so all those different experiences have brought me to where I am now, and I enjoy living the life that I have. And I think that's so important,
So good.
even in my message of unlocking the life that you deserve.
Look, Ty, I'm learning some new stuff about you today. I didn't know some of that stuff. So 10 years, you said in healthcare.
Hmm.
Okay, so I was in the beauty industry for over 20 years, right? I
Wow.
still have all my licenses, but I sold my hair salon. It's been 7 years ago to walk into this new place in this new space.
Wow.
So I knew because life began to get uncomfortable. I
Hmm.
knew that God was calling me to more, He was calling me to greater. So He started shaking stuff up to shake me out.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you were in healthcare for 10 years, like how did you know that you needed to make that shift or make that pivot to do something different? Like, was there something that happened? Or talk a little bit about that.
Well, I would say I've always knew, how that you've always just been different, right?
Hmm.
And and so you just don't always fit in. Like,
So good.
you try to fit into different circles, different silos, and you just don't.
Yeah.
And even with me going up for supervisor roles and trying to get in, like, okay, this is gonna be my next 20-year plan, my next 25-year plan, and it just seems like doors just kept closing, and I'm like, what is it? I know that I have the skill, I know that I have what it takes, but it was like no one was giving me a chance,
Wow.
right? And I'm like, geez. And, after leaving the hospital, I went to another job to see, like, okay, maybe this isn't it. Maybe, maybe I need to go more on the administrative side. And even with that, it just seemed like I just kept running into these doors. But I always saw myself as a CEO. I always saw myself as a vice. I always saw myself, more, right?
So
Um, and I just had to like step back and like, okay, maybe this isn't it.
So
You
good.
know,
So you said a lot. Hold on, we gotta unpack that a little bit before you go to the next thing, because you said the doors were closing, and you like, I know that I have in me what it takes to step into these spaces and places.
mhm,
Like, why is it not happening? So what I know that I'm called to the misfits. Okay, so I can relate to that, and I happen to
yeah,
be a misfit. I know I'm called to the Josephs, the world changers, the blueprinters. So you're like, I'm not fitting in. So it sounds like you created a way to fit in by launching and starting your own company. But you also said something else so powerful. I read a book by Stevie Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or
mhm,
Leaders, and it talks about like beginning with the end in mind. So you in your mind saw yourself as a CEO. So it's like, if I'm not a CEO yet, then I got to do something different to
right.
step into that role of a CEO. So how did that vision of seeing yourself as a CEO continue to, I guess, help you step forth or move forward to step into now being a CEO, best-selling author, internet? Did y'all hear her say international speaker? Like, we
Mhm.
can't miss that part. What helped you with that vision in your mind continue to step into that, or keep going until that became your reality?
Mhm. Um, I know sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't care what people say about me," right? But even Jesus said, "Who do people say that I am?"
Oh,
And honestly, people would always say, like, Ty, you always dress like, you own the company, you always show up. I mean, like at the time I was an administrative assistant, but I always showed up as if I was in charge. And they would always say, like, you shouldn't be here. Like, you shouldn't be in this role. Like, you always show up, big. You always show up like you're in charge, or the way that you dress, the way that you talk, the way that you carry yourself. And it just sort of helped me to, I already thought that, but to hear people always would say, like, Ty, you are just so much more. Like, I can see you doing more. And I knew inside that there was more.
oh,
And
good.
so I had to, shift and step out and say, okay, whatever that more is, I have to navigate to find out exactly what it is, because I always envisioned myself, even when I was on a corporate job, 9 to 5, I was
Yeah.
like, this is not it. Like, I'm not going to be doing this for the rest of my life. I always would say that, and I knew it, but I just didn't know the how.
Always knew that there was something more calling you, something
Mhm.
greater. But when you said look, I was about to say, baby, like when you said you stepped into, like you dressed up like where you was going and
Mhm.
what you saw yourself as, I was like, I need to step it up in my in my attire, because I'm dressing for not just where I'm at, for where I'm going. I
Mhm.
tell people 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. So the fact that you already knew this is not it, you
Mm-mm.
already knew this is there is more. You already knew, I know God has more for me. You already knew, because you was showing up in the CEO position even as a, did you say administrative assistant?
Administrative assistant.
That is so good, Ty.
Yeah.
I really want to throw something at you. And for those of you that are looking on YouTube, y'all probably like, okay, if you're listening, you probably can hear the energy and feel the shift. But when
Mhm.
Ty said that she was dressing for her elevation, my God, on today, that
Mhm.
is so powerful. So I often tell people, Ty, at every level of evolution, you must become a different version of yourself. And at every level of evolution, you must have a mindset shift. So I know recently we were able to sit down and have lunch. And although you shifted from doing one thing and then stepping into your own thing, there was still some things in the middle or some other opportunities that you stepped into. And
Mhm.
even in that, you was like, this ain't it. Like, you always have these seasons of this ain't
Yeah.
it. And you
Mhm.
was like, Joy, I got to make a decision. And you felt like, again, that mindset, you getting it in your mind first is the
Mhm.
first start to making the step. So you was like, I got to make a decision.
Mhm.
But it was also a hard thing that you had to do. So I want you to speak to, I feel like that was a shift and a pivot, uh,
Mhm.
as you were stepping into another version of Ty. So like, you
Mhm.
already had stepped into one, but now we're having lunch and you were like, girl, I got, this ain't it. I got to make
Mhm.
another decision.
Yeah.
So you were constantly evolving. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of shifts in between that we're not talking about. But
Right.
I want to go to that one and just talk about the mindset it took to do the hard thing.
Mhm. So to take you back just a little bit, during COVID, I was working in healthcare, but I also had my own business. And then during COVID, when the start of COVID, I had to make, some changes and some shifts. And so I started working for a leadership firm, and I did that for 3 years. But upon the 3.5 years, I could feel the pull. I could feel that it was time for my voice to be heard, and not just talking to myself, but it was time for people to know like who Ty was,
Wow.
like to hear your voice. Um, and again, the decision to shift, it was really hard because it wasn't like I was working for someone or working with an organization that I didn't like. It's
Yeah.
easy to leave a place where you feel like, oh, I don't like this, it's not for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
But when you are in a position and you are loyal to that organization, you're loyal to that person, but yet you know that there is a higher calling. You hear it, you can't sleep. You every time you wake up, you're thinking about it. Every time you go to bed, you're thinking about it. And you're like, but I'm going to let this person down. I'm going to let this organization down. And that was so hard for me to do, because to step into what you are called to do versus what you're comfortable doing.
Hmm. What you're called to do versus what you're comfortable doing.
Mhm.
Let me tell you that, Ty, you just dropping the mic, giving us all kind of, I call it nuggets, okay?
Nugget.
My mentor Lamar always like nuggets. If you hear something good, you be like nugget. Like,
Yeah.
so not just what you're comfortable doing, but what you're calling to do. But it
Mhm.
sounds like you had to get out of your head with
Yeah.
the disappointment of the organization,
Yes.
because I remember saying, Ty, you're gonna disappoint yourself if you don't get out of your head and get out of your
Right.
way. But you
Right.
also said something so powerful. You knew it was time to activate your voice.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we can hide behind someone else's organization, business, or vision, and we know that God is calling us to activate our voice, and then we don't do it. So you felt that feeling again, Ty. You was
Mhm.
like, I couldn't sleep. I knew it was something more. So it seems like there's a consistency when it's time to make the shift or pivot, that
Yeah.
you get uncomfortable or something starts agitating or aggravating you, and you
Mhm.
like, hold up, wait a minute. So talk to me about the mental shift of getting out of your head to get out of your way and to finally do the hard thing. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So definitely it was a mental toll, but it had to be a mental shift.
Yeah.
And for me, if I'm going to make a decision, I will think long and hard about it. But when it comes to me making that decision, it has to be like rapid. It has to be then, there, and now. And so I I was sitting at my desk, and I remembered calling my husband into my office, and I just turned around to him and I said, "It's time. It's time." And so I made the phone call, set up the call, and I just had to do it.
Yeah.
I just had to do it. And when I did it,
Woo!
the weight was lifted.
My,
And oftentimes we wonder why we may be heavy. We're walking around with this heaviness. It's because you're not, one, being your authentic self, but two, you haven't released that thing that you've been called to do.
let me tell you, that's so good. So basically, you're telling me the decision, and that you say it's time. You made the decision, you release the weight, and in that you felt the release. So
Mhm.
people that's holding on to weights, it sounds like for you it was a decision. And in
Yes.
the decision and the release to activate the next level of Ty, the
Yes.
weight was lifted. I
Mhm.
want to run right there. So for somebody that's listening, you are praying like, Lord, what is it, God? Like, this weight is heavy, this pressure is
Mhm.
heavy. Could it be a decision?
Mm.
Could it be that you need to release the next version of yourself? Could it
Yes.
be the activation of your voice? Or as
Wow.
Ty said, being a CEO? Could it be that you're holding yourself hostage to another version of you because you're worried about disappointing people
Wow.
when you really are disappointing God and you're disappointing yourself?
Mm.
Ooh, Ty, this is so good. I got a few more questions before we close, because that could have been the closing, but I just feel like there's a little bit more that people need to hear from you.
Yeah.
And I know I was recently even looking at an interview with you, and we were talking about you were talking about your new book. And
Mhm.
one of the things that you talked about was the power of the reset, and how oftentimes people can think, reset means starting over.
Mhm.
But you began to talk about like, no, that's not really it. So I want you to speak to that a little bit because I know that it's in your new book,
Yeah.
Unlocking the Life That You Deserve. And when people hear reset, they think about, but even with like a cell phone, when you got to reset the cell phone, you just have to turn some stuff off and then reset that phone. But I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna let you
Right.
look into the reset because I'll take that thing to
Yeah.
in the middle of the podcast. So speak to that in your book when you talked about just that whole power of resetting.
Yeah, and going, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of the phone analogy.
Okay.
So when you mentioned it, I started thinking about when you have too many apps on your phone
Come
and
on.
you get this message that says, you got to delete some stuff, you got to reset your phone. And oftentimes when you got too much stuff downloaded, you got too much stuff on your phone, you got to delete some stuff. You got to kind of like start it over, right? So in the book I talk about reset and not feeling like you have to start over, but really letting go to grow. And so back to the activation part, back to, releasing in order to go forward. And it's not me having to, oh my God, I got to start all over to reset. No, no, no. It's just starting from where you are and getting alignment with where you're supposed to go. So it's really not a reset, but it's an alignment. It's getting clarity and letting go of the things that no longer serve you.
Woo! I'm saying, and the alignment is for the assignment. So when you talked about that cell phone, think about when you got too many apps open. You can look at that as portals, as doors, as distractions,
Mm.
and it slows down the phone because you need to
Wow.
delete some stuff. So some of y'all got so much stuff open that you are slowing down, and you trying to figure out, why am I depressed? Why am I drained?
Mm.
Why am I overwhelmed? Could it be because you got too much connections? Too many apps open, portals that have opened in your life and created more challenges and stress. And you trying
Wow.
to figure out like what you need a reset, sis. You need a reset. And we might have
And
some
your
growth.
battery is dying because you got all these things open.
And sometimes this is another level right here, because sometimes you might need to get rid of the whole phone and make an investment. And the investment is in yourself, and the investment is in another phone, because you just
Yes.
need to get rid of the whole. You just need to rededicate your life, yourself, so you can be able to truly walk in your reset.
Mhm.
Todd, this is so good. Like, I feel like you're gonna have to come back for like a part two.
Oh boy.
And we're gonna have to really lean in more to this whole alignment thing, right? And understanding the power of once you make the reset, then the
Mhm.
alignment can begin to happen. And
Mhm.
I want you to speak to even after making that alignment, like what do some practical things look like that we can do from the reset into the alignment to keep being able to move forward to unlock the life that we deserve?
Mhm. Great question, Joy. And back to what you were saying about, where do I go from here after I reset? Well, one, you have to change your habits. You
Mm,
can't do a reset and then you download all the things back onto the new
boy.
phone. So
So
once
good.
it's deleted, once you let it go, you got to let it stay where it is. And so changing those habits. And
Yeah.
I talked about decluttering mentally, emotionally, physically, getting rid of some things
Mm,
in the midst of that reset.
yeah. So good.
And and making sure that you have accountability.
So good.
Because I can say that, oh, I'm going to reset, but who knows that I'm doing it?
Right.
I mean, you
So
you can go
good.
back to your habits and I wouldn't know, but making sure that you have someone that's holding you accountable to that.
Yeah.
And lastly, and this one I love because silencing the inner critic. We
Mm,
tell ourselves so much lies and we blame it on the enemy or we blame it on other people,
yeah.
but we're receiving it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you got to silence that noise by replacing it with the truth, replacing with the things that you want to have,
So good. Yeah.
not with the things that I don't have. But as I reset, I got to replace those thoughts that I had before. So that's all part of, again, getting rid of those things that no longer serve me.
So good, Ty. That was so good. Like so good. I think the most important thing is, like you say, getting that accountability, getting out of your head
Mhm.
about what you thought you were, and really accepting that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're royal. You're chosen.
Right.
You're enough. You're beautiful. You're unique. You're valuable.
Mhm.
All of those things, and getting that out of your head. I heard somebody say, "It's not the enemy. It's the inner me." Because a lot
Inner,
of times people,
yes.
yeah, they always like, oh, the devil, the devil, the devil. But could it be yourself or that imposter syndrome that tells you that you're not qualified, that you're not enough, and you have to really shift your subconscious mind? So that's so good. And then, like you said, the other thing, that declutter part. I used to tell my mentees, I'm like, maybe you still feeling the man because you still got that pocketbook in your closet that he brought a year ago with your new boo, and you trying to figure out why when he called you, you feeling all. You still got a connection. Get rid of the Louis Vuitton, and if you need to get rid of it, call me. I'll pray over it, and I'll take it off your
And
hands.
I'll take it off your
For
hands.
those of you that are watching, or even if you got those red bottoms that he brought you, you know, your boo thing, a 37, let a sister know and I'll come take them off your hand. But that whole decluttering thing, Ty, I don't think people realize when they stay connected to things of yesterday that no longer serve them, that they also keep an opening. And I remember telling my mentees, get rid of all of the clothes from the exes, all of the things that the ex brought you. I say, you need to make a change, get it out the house. And then the other thing, what you're talking about with the downloads and the apps, and making those habit changes, block him or her.
Yes.
Okay? So you don't even know they calling, and then you won't have a mishap. Oh, he ended up at the house. And okay.
But
So
the letting go piece is the hard part.
it is. It is. That let it go part is very challenging. That's why you said something so important, and that was the accountability piece. So let them know how you can connect with them in being able to hold them accountable to unlock the life that they deserve. And any final words that you want to leave with them before you tell us how we can follow you and connect with you on all the amazing things that you're doing.
Thank you, Joy.
You're welcome.
And so if I had final words, I would say, you know, the life that you want. You know what it is. And so whatever that thing is that you feel is holding you back, you have to break through that. And you cannot do it by yourself. And so get around people, like-minded people that are doing or going where it is that you want to go. The joys, the ties, you know, it's okay. You don't have, it's not a competition, but we're here to hold each other accountable to get to that place where we want to be. And so, and if you have not gotten a copy of Unlocking the Life You Deserve, and I'm not saying it because I wrote it, but it's because I know that it will help you to unlock some places, and it'll help bring clarity. So you don't have to play small, but it's time for you to now take those bold steps and say, you know what? It's about to be 2026. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go into this new year holding on to these things. I'm going to let go. But you can get your copy of Unlocking the Life You Deserve on my website at www.tyrgraham.com. And you can follow me on all social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at tyrgraham.com.
So good. So good. And all of Ty's information is below. So you guys can just click it. Make sure you guys follow her. Make sure y'all inbox her and say, hey, we heard you on the Shift with Dr. Joy podcast. Make sure you guys share a takeaway. But most importantly, support what it is that God is doing in her life. Purchase a book. Get it as a gift, as a birthday gift. One thing I'm doing differently this year is I'm getting stocking stuffers that look like books and journals and different things that people can read to help really transform their mind and their life. Today has been amazing, Ty. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm excited about just the things that you shared that I know is going to really help people to unlock the life that they deserve. You guys continue to follow me on all social media. I am Shift with Dr. Joy. If you're looking for community to help you shift your life, your mind, and your finances, guys, make sure you join our S2E community. It stands for Shift to Elevate. And continue to follow me again at Shift with Dr. Joy. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.